I opened this up last night and it's so crazy how kind of defining this drum sound is in my head. Let's just have a listen. There's no sort of artificial delay or reverb on that drum sound. That is the sound of the room, and it really just takes me back to that studio and to that space. So it just... Let's get to the verse. So you can see what I mean about how I wanted the ability to go from expansive and ambient to a kind of really tight drum sound. That's why we had to build Timmy's little drum house. I love it when a drum sound and the room mics take you to a particular place. There is something kind of really tangible and three-dimensional about it. Like you can hear or visualize the movement of everyone around in the studio, and it makes me think of sort of the big wooden walls and the stained glass windows, and also Tim just playing that drum group over and over and over again. Let's go through all the kind of individual sounds. I'm going to start with the room mics because I think specifically on this album we really lent into the sound of the room. So in terms of room mics, I had the mic, as it's called, stemmed from a mic that we used on the Foals record on Holy Fire, where it was just a mono 58 hanging from the ceiling in the middle of the room, and we ran it through probably a Neve channel and then a Dynamite compressor. And we really sort of dug into the pump and the tempo of the song. So it was really quite heavily compressed. So it would pick up kind of everything in the room. And on Holy Fire, it became essentially the glue of a lot of the songs because it picked up a lot of the sounds of the guitars coming through their own little guitar booths and the bass, and picked up a lot of the vocals. So let's just have a listen to that. Yeah. On that, I can hear that it's really picking up a lot of the cymbals and the splashiness, and it's adding a lot of excitement. Let's see what it's doing on this section. Definitely heavily compressing it. I have a feeling we might have overdubbed the drums after the fact, after everyone had played. I can't hear any bleed. So that was the mic. And then I did have a stereo pair of rooms, but I did have a left and right room mic, but I didn't treat them the same. I don't think it wasn't to create a stereo room vibe. And again, because the room was so vast, I'd run around the room while they were playing just to see where it sounded the best. So let's have a listen to this guy. That one sounds like it's in, if I'm looking at the control room and the live room is right in front of me, it's the far, far back corner behind, the drums are at the far corner at my left. And that sounds like that mic was sitting behind the baffles and facing away from the drums towards a section that is picking up more of kind of the low end and softening the cymbals a little bit. Like the sound of that. They had a U67. I've called it Kit U67, so I imagine that this was sort of fairly close to the kit, in the middle of the room, but maybe a couple of meters away from the kit. I like that one. We had a drum amp which was set up in a bathroom. I had a 58 on the snare, which was running directly to a tie line, which then went directly to the drum amp. What does that sound like? That's cool too. I probably chose that over the Bullet because they were sort of doing the same thing, and I'm pretty sure at one point I had reverb on it and we decided to take it off. The drum amp, that would have been 58 on the snare, so next to the direct snare mic, and it would have been fed directly to a tie line and then into the bathroom, into the amp. And we've got the back room. So the back room mic, there was a lot of other little rooms off the live room, and I think I stuck an R84 in the middle of one of the side rooms. And again, because it's further away, it's picking up more of the low end of the kick. Love that one. There's a room 2. See what I mean? There's like so many room mics. Can't remember where that one was. That sounds like it's closer to the drums and in front of the drums because it's picking up a lot of the top end. Rob reminded me we had a mic called Another Bloody Room Mic because obviously I had so many room mics set up. That's great. You know what? I reckon that sounds like we had that shoved down a corridor somewhere. That's what that mic sounds like. That's great. That was worth putting up Another Bloody Room Mic for. And then we did some drum effects processing. That's sick. That sounds like something Rob and I would have done back at Atlanta, again, when we were kind of experimenting with pedals and processing individual elements, and we might have tried this on another song and thought, oh, this would be cool to try on this track. Let's have a listen to the drums all together, and I'll mute some things to see what difference it's making. Wow, that Another Bloody Room Mic is really adding some kind of toughness to the sound of the drums. I miss the weight of it when it's not there. It's doing something really beautiful to the cymbals too. It's just sort of softening them, but adding weight to them. And the drum amp is adding a bit of bite.